What is the best response when a cop says, "Do you know why I pulled you over?" Got pulled over once for no apparent reason. Officer says he clocked me doing 70 in a 55. I had cruise control on at 59 and both my car and Google Maps told me I was under 60. I gave him such an, "Are you fucking stupid?" look. I'm not sure how it would have escalated, but at that exact moment my phone started screeching at me about an Amber Alert with a vehicle description similar to what I was driving. Things got cleared up pretty fast after that. I think so, officer, but where are we going to get hot pants and a chicken at this hour? Are you thinking what I'm thinking, Pinky? I think so, brain, but what if the chicken won't wear the nylons? At least in Germany you should always say no, because otherwise whatever you did was intentionally. If you do it intentionally, the situation gets worse for you. Say you don't speak English. In English. She was already dead when I found her, before he can finish his sentence. Are there drugs or weapons in the car? Me sure. Anything in specific you looking for? I was a police officer before I got married. Got out of it full-time, got into pharmaceutical sales when I got married for a more normal lifestyle for my wife. I kept my commission up by being a volunteer police officer. I got pulled over by a state police officer that asked me if I had any guns or drugs in my car. I started laughing and gave him my police ID and a business card. He started laughing as well once he realized that I had a trunk full of medication samples. I loaded him up with promotional pens and post-it notes. Was let go with a warning. This should clear up our little misunderstanding as I hand them my get-out-of-jail-free card from my wallet. You don't go by Monopoly, man. That game is nuts. Nobody just picks up get-out-of-jail-free cards. Those things cost thousands. Officer hands him go-to-jail card. Objection, calls for speculation. Should have known better to stop you with a lure-up vanity plate. Well, if you don't know, sir. I'm afraid we're both wasting our time. Edit, grammar. Depends how long you were following me. YouTube taught me to shout, "Am I being detained?" and to inform the officer that I'm not driving, I'm traveling. My body is a vessel as defined by maritime law. Edit, here's a great video series on how to be a sovereign citizen. Know your rights. There you are. I've been waiting for you to pull me over all day. I'm not sure what should be said specifically, but a good rule of thumb is that the seriousness of your response should be directly proportional to the amount of drugs in your vehicle. A family friend who used to be a sheriff always told us only break one law at a time. Or always follow the rules with breaking the law. One crime at a time. I always told my kids, misdemeanors only. I once got pulled over for speeding behind a cop. I told him that I noticed I was behind a police officer and assumed we were traveling at a safe speed. He said it's on me this time, and I didn't get a ticket. I always wonder how that would go if you match the speed of a speeding cop. I was lucky to be behind a nice cop. Me, I was trying to keep up with the traffic. Cop, there is no traffic. Me, exactly, that's how far behind I am. Edit, thank you kind strangers for the upvotes. What seems to be the officer problem? Sir, please exit your hands, with your vehicle up. Put your back behind your hands. Stop arresting, resist. Because it'd be really difficult having this conversation while driving. Technically correct is the best kind of correct. A kiss? Edit, wow, my first gold. Interesting how a simple kiss always seems to end up in me losing my virginity. Do you know why I pulled you over? To sell me a ticket to the policeman's ball? We don't have balls. I know. Gotta make quota? The minimum amount of crime that is acceptable. This is a true story and I don't get to tell it enough, so I feel like Reddit must hear it. When I was in college I lived about 1.5 hours from my grandparents' house, so I would try to see them as often as I could. Well, I have your stereotypical Italian grandparents that you are always gaining weight but are also too skinny and must be fed every time you see them. I love it lol. Well, this one time whatever I ate wasn't sitting well with me and I was gassy as all hell to the point that I had to leave, just so I could have a constant airflow around me in the car. For whatever reason the smell was just lingering and wouldn't go away even with all four windows down. No, I didn't shit myself, but I was very concerned about it at the time. Obviously I had bigger problems on my hands and I wasn't paying attention to the speed, and by the time I heard the sirens and checked my odometer I saw I was caught doing 95 in a 65. I was caught dead to rights, nothing I could do about it. Bye bye license, or so I thought. So as the cop walked up to my car and said, "Do you know why I pulled you over?" I said as fast as I possibly could. "Because I was doing 95 in a 65 and I'm sorry officer, I really am, but my belly hurts, I ate some bad food and I've really got to poop." And right at this moment I forced out the most perfect fart for the occasion. It sounded as bad as it smelled. It was so well done that there was a 3-second silence where you can tell the cop was just processing what had just happened. He then makes the best what I can only describe, and that was a raunchy fart face, and he, "Holy shit man, rest stop 2 miles up the road. Get the hell out of here," to which I happily peeled off and thankfully had a windy ticket-free ride home. Edit. Speedometer not odometer, sorry, I was laughing as I was typing. Update. My first awards. Thanks guys. You really know how to make me enjoy my not so shitty situation even more. Your story reminds me of something that happened to me and my dad. A little backstory. My stepmom own a couple of hot dog stands that are located in home depots. Every summer she caters an outdoor movie night event for her cousin's community. It's an all-day event, and when I was in college they asked me to help out and gave me the money they got paid so I could have some money for school. The morning of the event, I got to my dad's house and started helping him load the hot dog cart onto the back of his truck. All of a sudden this SUV starts speeding down the alley. My dad narrowly avoids getting hit, but as the SUV passes it took out the driver's side mirror of my dad's truck. The SUV then stops a few houses down and the guy jumps out and runs into a house. My dad and I both look at each other, and exchanged a really confused "what the fuck?" look, and then went to check out the damage. The mirror was hanging off, so we had to start figuring a way to tape it on because we needed it to make the hour-and-a-half-long drive to the event. After a few minutes the guy from the SUV comes back out and walks towards us. My dad was pretty pissed and looked ready to confront him. The guy stops right in front of the mirror, looks at it, turns to us and says, "I'm so sorry. I was about to shit myself." I could barely withhold my laughter, and although my dad was still visibly pissed off, I could tell he thought it was funny too. The guy ended up paying for the mirror, but the whole thing was such a weird interaction. Thanks for binging with the Reddit Wolf. Don't forget to like and subscribe.